plan our family goals and activities. We say, in light of these principles, what are the goals we are going to work on? What are our action plans to accomplish our goals and actualize these values? We review the statement frequently and rework goals and jobs twice a year. In September and June, the beginning of the school and the end of the school, to reflect the situation as it is, to improve, to strengthen, to it renew us, recommit us to what we believe in and what we stand for. Organizational mission statement. Mission statement are also vital to successful organization. One's the most important trust of my work with organization is to assist them in developing effective mission statement, and to be effective, then a statement has to come from within the bowel of the organization. Anyone should participate in a meaningful way, not just the top strategy planners, but everyone. Are again, once again, the involvement process is as important as the written product and is the key to its use. I am always intrigued whenever I go to IBM and watch the training process there time and time again. I see the leadership of the organization come into a group and say that IBM stand for three things: the dignity of the individual, excellence, and service. These things represent the belief system IBM. Everything else will change, but these three things will not change. Almost like osmosis, this belief system has spread throughout the entire organization, providing a tremendous base of shared values and personal security for everyone who works there. Once I was training a group of people for IBM in New York. It was a small group, about 20 pupils, and one of them became ill. He called his wife in California, who expressed concern because his illness required a special treatment. The IBM pupil responsible for the training session arranged to have him taken an excellent hospital with medical specialists in the disease, but they could sense that his wife was uncertain and really wanted him home where their personal physician could handle the problem. So they decided to get him home, concerned about the time involved in driving him to the airport. And waiting for a commercial plane, they brought in a helicopter, flew him to the airport, and hired a special plane just to take this man to California. I don't know what cost that involved. My guess would be many thousands of dollars, but IBM believe in the dignity of the individual. That's what the company stand for. To those present, that experience presented its belief system and was no surprise. I was impressed. At another time, I was scheduled to train 175 shopping center managers at a particular hotel. I was amazed at the level of service there. It wasn't a cosmetic thing, it was evident at all levels, spontaneously without supervision. I arrived quite late, checked in, and asked if room service were available. The man at the desk said, "No, Mr. Kobe, but if you are interested, I could go back and get a sandwich or a salad or whatever you like that we have in the kitchen." His attitude was one of the total concern about the comfort and welfare. Would you like to see your convention room? He continued, "Do you have everything you need? What can I do for you? I am here to serve you." There was no superior than checking up. This man was sincere. The next day, I was in the middle of a presentation when I discovered that I didn't have all the colored markers I needed. So I went out into the hall during the brief break and found a bellboy running to another convention. I've got a problem, I said. I'm here training a group of managers and I only have a short break. I need some more color pens. He wiped around and almost come to attention. He glanced at my name tag and said, Mr. Covey, I'll solve your problems. He didn't say I don't know where to go or will go and check the front desk. He just took care of it and he made me feel like it was his privilege to do so. Later, I was in the site lobby looking at some of the art objects. Someone from the hotel came up to me and said, Mr. Kobe, would you like to see a book that described the art of objects in the hotel? How, how anticipatory, how service oriented. I next observed one of the employee high up on a ladder cleaning window in the lobby. From his vantage point, he saw a woman having a little difficulty in the garden with a walker. She hadn't really fallen, she was with other people, but he climbed down that ladder, went outside, helped the woman into the lobby, and saw that she was properly taken care of. Then he went back and finished cleaning the window. I wanted to find out how this organization had created a culture where people bought so deeply into the value of customer service. I interview housekeepers, waitresses, bellboy in the hotel and found that his attitude has had impregnated the mind, hearts, attitudes of every employee there. I went through the back door into the kitchen where I saw the central value uncompromised, uncompromising personalized service. I finally went to the manager and said, my business is helping organization develop a powerful team character, a team culture. I am amazed at what you have here. Do you want to know the real key? Inquired. He pulled out the mission statement for the hotel chain. After reading it, I acknowledged that's an impressive statement, but I know many companies that have impressive mission statement. Do you want to see the one for this hotel? He asked. Do you mean you develop one just for this hotel? Yes. Different from the one for the hotel chain. Yes, it is harmony with the statement, but this one pertains to our situation, our environment, our time. He handed me another paper. Who developed this statement? I asked. Everybody, he replied. Everybody? Really, everybody? Yes. Housekeepers, yes. Waitresses, yes. Desk clerks, yes. Desk clerk, yes. Do you want to see the mission statement written by the people who greeted you last night? He pulled out a mission statement that they themselves they written had written that was interwoven with all the other mission statement. Everyone at every level was involved. The mission statement for that hotel was the hub of a great wheel. It spawned the thoughtful, more specialized mission statement of particular group of people. It was used as a criterion for every decision that was made. It clarified that those people stood up, how they related to the customer, how they related to each other. It affected the style of the manager and the leader. It affected the compensation system. It affected the kind of people they recruited and how they train and develop them. Every aspect of the organization essentially was a function of that hub, that mission statement. I later visited another hotel in the same chain, and the first thing I did when I checked in was to ask to see their mission statement, which they promptly gave me. At this hotel, I came to understand the motto uncompromising personalized service a little more. For a 3-day period, I watched every conceivable situation which service was called for. I always found that service was delivered in a very impressive, excellent way, but it was always very personalized. For instance, in the swimming area, I asked the attendant where the drinking fountain was. He walked me to it. But the thing that impressed me the very most was to see an employee on his own admit a mistake to his boss. He ordered room service and were told when it would be delivered to the room. On the way to our room, the room service person spilled the hot chocolate and it took a few extra minutes to go back and change the linen on the tray and replace the drink. So the room service was about 15 minutes late, which was really not that important to us. Nevertheless, the next morning, the room service manager phoned us to apologize and invited us to have either the buffet breakfast or a room service breakfast, compliment of the hotel, to in some way compensate for the inconvenience. What does it say about the culture of an organization when an employee admits his own mistake unknown to anyone else, to the manager, so the customer or guest is better taken care of? As I told the manager of the first hotel I visited, I know a lot of companies with impressive mission statement, but there is a real difference. All the difference in the hotel, in the effectiveness of a mission statement created by everyone involved in the organization and one written by a few top executive behind a mahogany wall. One of the fundamental problem in organization, including families, is that people are not committed to the determination of other people for their life. They simply don't buy into them. Many times as I work with organization, I find people whose goals are totally different from the goals of the enterprises. I commonly find reward system completely out of alignment with stated value system. When I begin work with companies that have already developed some kind of mission statement, I ask them how many of the people here know that you have a mission statement. How many of you know what it contains? How many were involved in creating it? How many really buy into it and use it as your frame of reference in making decisions? Without involvement, there is no commitment. Mark it down, asterisk it, circle it, underline it. No involvement, no commitment. Now, in the early stage, when a person is new to the organization or new, and when a child in the family is young, you can pretty well give them a goal and they'll buy it, particularly it if the relationship orientation and training are good. But when people become more mature, their own life take on a separate meaning. They want involvement, significant involvement, and if they don't have that involvement, they don't buy it. Then you have a significant motivational problems which cannot be solved at the same level of thinking that created it. That's why creating an organizational mission statement takes time, patience, involvement, skills, and empathy. Again, it's not a quick fix, it's take time and sincere, correct principles, and the courage and integrity to align systems, structure, management style to the shared vision and values. But it's based on correct principles and it works. An organization mission statement, one that truly reflects the deep shared vision and values of everyone within that organization, creates a great unity and tremendous commitment. It creates in people's heart and minds a frame of reference, a set of criteria or guidance by which they will govern themselves. They don't need someone else directing, controlling, criticizing, or taking cheap shots. They have brought into changeless core of what the organization is about. Application suggestion. Number one, take the time to record the impression you had in the funeral visualization at the beginning of this chapter. You may want to use the chart below to organize your thought. Number two, take a few moments and write down your rules as you now see them. As you are you satisfied with that mirror image of your life? Number three, set up time to completely separate yourself from daily activities and to begin work on your personal mission statement. Number four, go through the chart in Appendix A showing different centers and circle all those you can identify with. Do they form a pattern for the behavior in your life? Are you comfortable with the implication of your analysis? Start a collection of notes, quotes, and ideas you may want to use as source material in writing your personal mission statement. Number six, identify a project you will be facing in the near future and apply the principle of mental creation. Write down the result you desire and what step will lead to those results. Number seven, share the principles of habit two with your family or work group and suggest that together you begin the process of developing a family or group mission statement. Habit three, put first thing first. Principles of personal management. Things which matter most must never be at the mercy of things which matter least. Go it. Will you take Will you take just a moment and write down a short answer to the following two questions? Your answer will be important to you as you begin work on habit 3. Question number 1. What one thing could you do you aren't doing now? What if you did on a regular basis would make a tremendous positive difference in your personal life? Question number 2. What one thing in your business or personal life would bring similar results? We'll come back to these answers later. But first, let's put habit 3 in perspective. Habit 3 is the personal fruit, the practical fulfillment of habit 1 and 2. Habit 1 say you are the creator, you are in charge. It's based on the four unique human endowment of imagination, conscience, independent will, and particular self-awareness. It empower you to say that an unhealthy program I've been given from my childhood, from my social mirror, I don't like that ineffective script, I can change. Habit 2 is the first or mental creation. It based on imagination, the ability to envision, to see the potential, to create with our minds what we cannot at present see without eyes, and conscience, the ability to detect our own uniqueness and the personal moral and ethical guidance within which we can most happily fulfill it. It's the deep contact with our basic paradigms and values and the vision what we can become. Habit 3 then is the second creation, the physical creation. It's the fulfillment, the actualization, the natural emergence of habit 1 and 2. It's the exercise of independent will towards becoming principle centered. It's the day in day out, movement by movement doing it. Habit 1 and 2 are absolute essential and prerequisite to habit 3. You can't become principle centered without first being aware of and developing your own proactive nature. You can't become principle centered without first being aware of your paradigm and understanding how to shift them and align them with principles. You can't become principle centered without a vision of and a focus on the unique contribution that is yours to make. But with that foundation, you can become principle centered day in and day out, movement by living habit 3, by practicing effective self management. Management, remember, is scarcely different from leadership. Leadership is primarily a high powered right brain activity. It's more of an art, it's based on a philosophy. You have to ask the ultimate question of life when you are dealing with personal leadership issues. But once you have dealt with those issues, once you have resolved them, and you then have to manage yourself effectively to create a life congruent with your answer. The ability to manage well doesn't make much difference if you are not even in the right jungle. But if you are in the right jungle, it makes all the difference. In fact, the ability to manage well determines the quality and even the existence of the second criterion. Management is the breaking down, the analysis, the sequence, the specific application, the time bound left brain aspect of effective self government. My own maxim of personal effectiveness is this: manage from the left, lead from the right. The power of independent will. In addition to self awareness, imagination, and conscience, it is the fourth human endowment, independence will, that really makes effective self management possible. It is the ability to make a decision and choices and to act in accordance with them. It is the ability to act rather than to be acted upon, to proactively carry out the program we have developed through the other three endowment. The human will is an amazing thing. Time after time, it has trumped against unbelievable odds. The Helen killer of the world gave dramatic evidence to the value, the power of the independent will. But as we examine this endowment in the context of effective self management, we realize it's usually not the dramatic, the visual, the ones in a lifetime up by the bootstrap efforts that brings enduring success. Empowerment comes from the learning how to use this great endowment in the decision we make every day. The degree to which we have developed our independent will in our everyday lives is measured by our personal integrity. Integrity is fundamentally the value we place ourselves. It's our ability to make and keep commitment to ourselves, to walk our talk. It's honor with self, a fundamental part of the character ethics, the essence of proactive growth. Effective management is putting first thing first, while leadership decides what first things are. It's the management that puts them first, day by day, moment by moment. Management is discipline, carrying is out. Discipline drives from discipline. Discipline to a philosophy, disciplines to a set of principle, disciplines to a set of values, discipline to a overriding purpose, to a superordinate goal or a person who represent that goal. In other words, if you are effective manager of self, your disciplines comes from within. It is a function of your independent will. You are a discipline, a follower of your own deep values and their sources, and you have the will, the integrity to subordinate your feelings, your impulse, your moods to those values. One of my favorite essay is The Common Denominator of Success, written by E.M. Gray. He spent his life searching for the one denominator that all successful people share. He found it wasn't hard work, good luck, or astute human relation through those were all important. The one factor that seems to transcend all the rest embodies the essence of habit 3, putting first thing first. The successful person has the habit of doing the things failure don't like to do. He observed they don't like doing them either necessarily, but their disliking is subordinate to the strength of their purpose. The subordination, the sub that subordination requires a purpose, a mission, a habit, to clear sense of direction, and a value burning yes. Insight that makes it possible to us need no to the other things. It also requires independent will, the power to do something when you don't want to do it, to be a function of your values rather than a function of the impulse or desire of any given movement. It's the power to act with integrity to your proactive first creation. For generation of time management, in Habit 3, we are dealing with many of the questions addressed in the field of life and time management. As a long term student of the fascinating field, I am personally persuaded that the essence of the best thinking in the area of time management can be captured in a single phrase: organize and execute around priorities. That phrase represents the evolution of three generations of time management theory and how to best do it. It is the focus of a wide variety of approaches and material. Personal management has evolved in a pattern similar to many other areas of human endeavor. Major developmental trust or waves, or Alvin Toffler calls them, follow each other in succession, each addition a vital new dimension. For example, in social development, the agricultural revolution was followed by the industrial revolution, which was followed by the informational revolution. Each succeeding wave create a surge of social and personal progress. Likewise, in the area of time management, each generation builds on the one before it. Each one move us towards greater control of our life. The first waves or generation could be characterized by notes and checklists and efforts to give some semblance of recognition and inclusiveness of the many demands placed on our time and energy. The second generation could be characterized by calendar and appointment book. This wave reflect an attempt to look ahead to schedule events and activities in the future. The third generation reflect the current time management field in it adds to those preceding generation the important idea of prioritization, of clarifying values, and of comparing the relative worth of activities based on their relationship to those values. In addition, it focuses on setting goals, specific long, intermediate, and short term targets towards which time and energy would be directed in harmony with values. It also includes the concept of daily planning, of making a specific plan to accomplish those goals and activities determined to be greatest worth. While the third generation has made a significant contribution, people have begun to realize that efficient scheduling and control of time are often counterproductive. The efficiency focus creates expectation that clash with the opportunities to develop rich development, to meet human needs, and to enjoy spontaneous movement on a daily basis. As a result, many people have become turned off by time management programs and planners that make them feel too scheduled, too restricted, and they throw the baby out with the bath water, reverting to first or second generation techniques to preserve relationship, to meet human needs, and to enjoy spontaneous movement on a daily basis. But there is an emerging fourth generation that is different in kind. It recognizes that time management is really a misnomer, The challenge is not to manage time, but to manage ourselves. Satisfaction is a function of expectation as well as realization. And expectation thus and satisfaction lie in the circle of influence. Rather than focusing on things and time, fourth generation expectation focus on preserving and enhancing relationship and accomplishing result. In short, on maintaining the P and PC balance.